We are on Interstate 75.
Interstate 75, it's getting darker. What time is it? 3:30 in the afternoon. Big storms are coming.
3:15.
3:15. So we're going to get whacked with rain here at some point, so that'll be a good test of how this thing drives in a driving rainstorm.
Yeah, especially towing a car.
Especially towing a car. But we're in no hurry because we don't know where we're going. We're just driving. We're driving north on Interstate 75.
Right.
We are nomads for the first time in our RV history.
Yes. So, anyway, this is a baptism by fire for sure in terms of our RV experiences.
When you see the road from every direction, it will give you eyes, give you hope, it'll give you perspective. I've been back and forth, and yeah, I had my crashes. Now I've seen the road, it goes every direction. Oh, there are stories to tell, the times we grew and the times we fell. Oh, I've been afraid some days, but the road will lead us to a better place. Road will lead us to a better place.
So we are 2 hours and 23 minutes away from our destination, which is a Cracker Barrel, for an overnight stay in a parking lot, because we haven't done that yet. Since the last time that we talked to you, we've made our first pit stop on the interstate at a Pilot Flying J in some unknown town in Georgia. I wouldn't say it was an unmitigated disaster, but we'll say it was a mitigated disaster,
It was.
where the gas pumps were not RV friendly. We had to make do with the pumps that are there for, cars and SUVs. And we're a big RV and we're towing our car. So it made for some interesting snaky type moves.
That I should have recorded.
Yeah, we probably should have recorded it, but we didn't really know how it was going to end. And, we didn't want to hear a disaster.
It had the potential to end very badly.
Yeah, it did, but it didn't. Anyway, long story short, what was supposed to be like a 10-minute stop for gas and food turned into 45 minutes of, just sheer agony with lousy food and, having to corkscrew ourselves into the gas pump. So,
Right.
it's memorable. We'll never forget it, but, hopefully we'll do better on our next pit stops, and hopefully not all Pilot Flying J's are as pathetic, can I use that word, is that one. So TA0, Love 0, and Flying J -2. That's the scoreboard right now. We'll be pulling into Cracker Barrel in the dark, but we'll catch up with you then.
All right.
This was our first stay at a Cracker Barrel. We are in, what city are we in? We're in Beaufort, Georgia. And we spent the night here. We just had a rainstorm go through a little while ago. It was a pretty comfortable night. We discovered that even in the middle of summer, in the deep south, if you have your fan set to suck air out, but you open the windows, it pulls in the 71-degree air, and it's beautiful. So we're going to wait for Ellie and Arthur to show up here, and we're gonna have breakfast, and then we'll figure out the rest of the day. We're checking into our campground at 3 p.m. this afternoon at Sawnee Campground.
Okay, so how did that go this time?
Much smoother. I feel much more confident. I feel like I'm not going to forget something. But I want to interrupt this program to tell you that this site that we're on is unbelievable.
It certainly is.
I mean, we've had two great parks. We've had Hillsborough, cut short, but and we've had Lake Louisa, which is nice in its own right for what it is. But this site on the lake, this is a taste of things to come, because every campground that we're going to in this month-long journey is like this, where we're on a lake and it's some incredible overlook, with the exception of up the creek, which is in Pigeon Forge, but it's along a creek, so that site's going to be pretty awesome too.
And that's a private campground compared to the COE parks.
This is a COE park where we're getting charged, what is it, $12 a night or something like that? 12 to $15.
Because we have the America the Beautiful pass.
Because I'm old.
Yes, we have the senior one, and
for old people.
We paid a one-time cost of $80. No, 20. Sorry, before it went up to 80, we
but
paid.
You don't care about that.
Yeah.
You care about this site. And when we get this thing set up, it's going to be unbelievably beautiful.
Tomorrow night's dinner?
Yeah, poison.
You didn't like that? Okay, come here. Here's some other white ones.
Also poison.
You never know. You could try them.
You're trying to kill me.
You didn't work out today, so.
I did not. This is the resident creeper who's scoping out a guy without a shirt on, lathered in suntan oil.
Raptors.
Is that what it says?
Yeah. It's a surfboard.
Oh, okay.
Just
I like
call
my story
me
better, but
Mrs. Kravitz.
Mrs. Kravitz.
All right. Life is good.
So tell me about your first day at Sawnee Campground.
It is an amazingly beautiful campground. Every site is just gorgeous, and so far, so good. But definitely something I would come back to. This is just so peaceful. This is one of the best sites, besides the sites we saw on the peninsula. I would
say this rivals that. You know, we've got a front yard.
Yeah, we have a front yard.
A front yard that is basically...
We could play cornhole, we could play jarts.
We could just sit here and watch it.
We could
which
do
is what we're doing
bocce
right
ball.
now.
Although
I could
that's
write
a little-
poetry.
Yeah.
I could write sonnets. I could write music. Maybe I could even
Love
carve
letters
something.
to me. You could write
I could love letters
me.
to you. Use 2 syllables most of the time.
You belong here. You belong with me. Everything's clear. If you choose to see, just imagine what our love could be. You belong here with me. So come home, come home. So come home to me, home to me.
Hey guys, it's July 3rd. We are at Lake Lanier enjoying this beautiful day and listening and watching the boats out on the water. And this is my dad.
Hi.
We went and we picked him up. He's He's recently a widower, and we have taken him down to live with my sister because he's legally blind and can't really live alone. So he came to visit with us today, and tonight we're gonna grill out and have some steaks on the grill.
Nice. Beautiful lake.
So what's he doing to earn his keep? I mean, you know, you're talking about living on a lake and having
That's
steaks,
right, too,
and
yeah.
I heard there's ice cream and Dutch apple pie. That doesn't come for free.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
That's true.
His keep is just, you know, he sits and keeps a chair warm.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good
so
enough
he's
then.
He's
There
a
you go.
seat warmer.
Good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Back later. So how were those steaks?
Great.
Were they?
Mhm.
Did you eat it all?
Just about.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
That was probably at least a 16-ounce steak.
It's like you never ate before.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So he only had an 8-ounce
Well,
steak.
it's still a lot. I don't care what you say.
And then we had,
That's plenty for me, 8 ounce. I don't ever order any bigger than that.
yeah. And then potatoes on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
And
Your
then
potatoes look good.
we had some bacon. Excuse me.
What have
Bacon?
you been drinking?
I know. I've been drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes, you have.
And green beans.
And green beans.
So, Chef Mo did a good job.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
All right, so we are at the end of our stay at Sawnee Campground. We got here a week ago today, last Sunday, and it's been a wild ride, not gonna lie. There have been some extreme highs and some pretty low lows.
Right. One in particular.
One in particular, some of our doing and some not of our, a lot of it not of our doing at all. So what would you say are your highlights? We'll start with the good.
The beauty of the Sawnee or Lake Lanier. It is just absolutely gorgeous, and the lakefront campsites that are on it, they're really spectacular. It's been great to sit out here and watch the boats and the jet skis and
What about the campground itself? What do you think about that?
I thought the campground was very good. The one exception was maybe one of the bathhouses wasn't nearly as good as the second bathhouse. I think what it was is it's more up to date. So it was easier, and it felt cleaner because it was more up to date.
Right.
But you know, the campground's very good. It's quiet at night. We never once had to worry about, you know, parties going on and keeping us awake at night. Well, so what about you? What were some of your highlights of it?
Well, this is our first campground away from home. The first two shakedown cruises that we had were 5 miles from our house, and then there was one that was about 60 miles from home. That was our very first trip out. So this was really the first time that we were 400 miles from home and on our own. And I think it was a great campground to start out with. The camp hosts were great to us in the middle of our crises, which we'll get to in a minute.
They really were. They were very pleasant.
The campground itself it's kind of small, so it's easy to walk around and get around. It's right near a medium-sized town, Cumming, Georgia, which has all of the infrastructure you could ever want. So it was a great place to kind of start out. The biggest low was that when we got checked in last Sunday, the camp host that checked us in inadvertently checked us out at the same time and didn't know it, and we didn't know it either. And then the day after, was
I
it
think
Monday
so.
or Monday night or Tuesday morning, I got an email from recreation.gov, which manages all of the COE campgrounds around the country, saying that your refund is on its way, that your cancellation went through. And I'm thinking, what?
Right.
Nobody canceled anything. We're supposed to be here
Always.
until Friday, where we were supposed to switch sites. so that started this,
Oh, spiral.
just horrible experience of trying to deal with the recreation.gov website, which is great until you have a problem, and then it's horrible. You can't get in touch with anyone. When you do call, you're on hold for 2 hours. When you do talk to somebody, they really don't know what's going on. They get the impression they're all working from home and they're stovepiped away from the main system. And I was trying to book I couldn't get our site back, but I was trying to book our anywhere in here, and it was just a disaster. Long story short, the other camp host person who came on a couple days after really went the extra mile for us. He found a site that really wasn't supposed to be used for anything, but it did have electric and water, and we snuck in there for one night before we ended up back at this site 9, for the rest of the time. But it caused all sorts of anxiety, stress, wondering whether we were going to have to leave the campground and go boondock at a Cracker Barrel or a Walmart. The some of it all is that we ended up moving 3 times, or two times.
Right.
3 different sites that we were in for the 7 days that we were here, and
Right.
that was not nice. So one of the things that so I just want to transition real quick here to things that we learned while we were here. One of those things is that setting up and breaking down a campsite, even though it may not take you very long, it's kind of a long process to feel like you've sort of got everything set up. And we had to do that 3 times and break down 3 times. And the idea that, especially if you're full-time, we're not full-timers, but if you were full-timers, or if you're gone for 3 months at a time, you really want to stay in one place for 1 week or 2 weeks, so you don't have to go through all that stuff. And our first week, which ideally would have been just plant yourself in one site and be done with it, didn't go that way. What we learned from all the YouTubers for 6 months when we were doing research, and that is stay in one place for a while and get settled. So next week we're leaving here and we're heading to another COE campground a little bit north of here, only 20 miles. And that one we have a site for a week. It's actually 6 days because I think we leave on Saturday. So there won't be any moving in that one. And we'll make sure when we check in that the guy doesn't accidentally check us out.
Yeah.
Other things that happened to us that were kind of a downer, we had a refrigerator problem where we couldn't figure out why when it was on electricity, because you can either have it on electricity or propane. We had it on electricity, so we don't use our propane. It wasn't working. So I got on the internet, did a bunch of research, and somebody mentioned a GFI switch that probably got popped in the back. But we don't have a GFI in the bathroom. We didn't have a GFI anywhere. But I did happen to check in the area where we have our circuit breakers and fuses, and there's a little tiny white GFI button there.
Right.
And I ended up pushing that, and presto, everything worked.
Right.
It popped again a day or 2 later. So that's probably an issue we're going to have looked at by our dealer when we bring it back after this month-long fake shakedown.
Right.
So, and then did we have any other issues of note?
I don't recall
Nothing
any.
major, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, for me, another upside to, this is personal, another upside to being here at Lake Lanier is, my dad being so close. And he's 88 years old, and so it was nice to be able to spend some time.
Right.
He previously lived in New Hampshire, so it was hard to get up to New Hampshire as frequently as I would want to. So being down here in Georgia and being 7 hours away from us is so much better than being 23 hours away from us. So it was just really nice to spend that time with my dad. And this coming week, because we're still close by up at Duckett Mill, we'll be able to spend some more time with him. So that was another upside for me being here.
Yeah, he was here all day Friday, and he had a blast.
Yeah, he loved it.
He didn't really want to leave.
He didn't.
Because he just sat and looked at the lake and watched all the activity on the lake for the entire time he was here. So that was good too. So all in all, it was a good first week out in the wild with our rig. Problems aside, we had a great time, and we learned a lot, and we're on our way to Duck Mill.
Right.
And we'll see how we'll do there.
Yeah.
So join us on our next episode.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.